That's the Switch you got for that green jacket, man?
A Nintendo Switch. No, man.
Oh yeah, man, that green jacket dude was sketchy, but like, it was cool though, man. I ain't tripping.
You wasn't scared or nothing like that?
Oh, it's the box you want, then?
No, man, no, well, no sound effects or nothing. Oh, man, where the box come from?
I mean, yeah, I tripped a little bit when like he just materialized a Switch box out of nowhere. I'm like, man, you can't just be doing that, man. You can't just be making boxes appear, dog. I mean, we ain't in Magic Land.
I'd have been scared if I'd have seen that, man. I don't know, man. You sure you wasn't tripping or nothing like that?
No, man, I wasn't tripping like that, man. You crazy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, man, I just wanted to test them out, right? So I was like, yo, you got one of them limited edition Borderlands sets?
Diamond loot crate.
Like, dude just like materialized that, and I was like, hey, man, you need to chill with all that.
Where the box come from?
Man, you can't just be materializing just giant boxes, man. Like, the Switch box was enough.
How come your mama told me when y'all got in the car, you was all like,
Mama, where the boxes be coming from, man? No, you can't just be Harry Potter and boxes into existence, man. That don't how it work, man. It's the real world, man. Dude, just box. Just box. What the whoa?
Oh, she did?
what's up, everybody? What's good? My name is EK, and welcome to another episode of What's Good English, the channel where I focus on slang, curiosities of English, as well as African American vernacular. So if you want to know how English is really spoken, you are in the right place. Today is another African American vernacular episode. We're going to be looking at storytelling. Now, as I've previously mentioned on this channel, all subsequent episodes in this series are going to be building off of things that we've already mentioned before. So you can check out this playlist right here to see everything that I've mentioned in the past, so that you're not lost when a new one of these episodes comes out. Today, we're going to be looking at something that I kind of touched on in the very first episode of African American Vernacular, which you can watch here, and that is how we use the phrase to be habitually, except for in this case, we are using it to describe a sort of feeling or the way that something happened, instead of just reading a traditional story like, do I have a book around? Yeah, okay. Okay, I have an actual book. Let me read you a passage here. Outside the ropes of one of the elevated rings, a gray-haired veteran trainer was watching two boys circling each other, gloves and headguards on. They were finishing their third round, sweat pouring off of them, hard stares measuring each other, each one already cagey after being hit by hard blows. The larger, stockiest one fainted, threw a quick left jab, then another, then unleashed a crafty right hook meant for the ribcage of his opponent, but the other one was waiting for it. He tightened his left elbow guard and countered right away with a fast swing of his own, landing it on the side of the head of the bigger guy. As he saw him rock a little and take a backward step, the puncher stepped on and flew in two straight jabs, the second one finding a gap to hit the forehead. "That's the way, son," nodded the trainer approvingly. The bell rang, preventing an eventual counterattack from the more experienced fighter. "Alright, that's it for now. Brian, get yourself a rope and start skipping. You need work right away on your legs." Now, if you've seen any of my Storytime Tuesday episodes, you know there's another way we can tell this story. And African American vernacular is very much a language of spoken feelings and emotions, and putting our emotions on Front Street so that we act those things out, so you have a clear idea of exactly what we're talking about. So I can recount the story as like, yeah, man, it was both like super sweaty, like whoo, because they had both done been hit by some hard hits, and then one of them thought he saw an opening, so he was like, pow, pow, and the other dude was like, whoo, just ducking and dodging, and one of them just hit with the right hook, but the other dude expected it, so he was like, pow, and then he hit with his own counterattack, and dude was like, floop, floop, oh no, I'm gonna get you. He was like, but then the bell was like, bing, and the trainer was like, oh man, dude, you need to start skipping that rope, man, working on footwork, man, I want to see the whole thing. We can recount it like that. That's just much more exciting, much more dynamic, brings a lot more flavor to the text and everything when we're actually recounting the story to a person. All the details are still there, and no one's ever going to use every single descriptor word from a book in a story that they're telling in real life, but it's a way to make things more dynamic and to really make things stand out in natural conversation. Y'all remember the end of Harry Potter Goblet of Fire, right? When Voldemort, ooh, excuse me? Alright, when he who must not be named was all like, I can touch you now, Potter. And then he was like super jumpy and stuff. He was all like, pick up your wand, Harry, come on, wand up. Straight up told Harry to bow. He was like, this is a wizard's duel, Harry. You've been taught to do it, I presume. First, we bow to each other.
Oh, come on, Harry. Wouldn't want Dumbledore to find out you've forgotten your manners. I said, bow! That's better.
They hit the man with the Cruciatus curse, just like
Crucio.
and you know Harry's just on the ground like. Then he who must not be named just crept up on him like,
I'm going to kill you, Harry Potter. I'm going to destroy you. When people speak your name, they'll only speak of how you begged for death and how merciful I was to grant it to you. Get up.
but then Harry got all that courage and he just got up like, you know that Harry only knew that one spell, and you know that he who must not be named was gonna come with that AK, so they was both like, Harry's parents came up out the wand and they was like,
Even trip, Harry, you know we got you. We gonna make an opening for you. Just be ready.
Now, Harry, come on. Let the thing go and book it to the portkey.
and you know Cedric came up out the wand too, and he was just like,
Hey, Harry, man, just take my body back to the spot when y'all done. You heard?
and then Harry just summoned the portkey and he just dipped like,
Akio.
and you know that's pretty much how it happened. I mean, I might have changed around a couple of things, but like that's what happened, right? I mean, what you still doing here for, man? You supposed to be in like Europe or something like that right now? Man, I was standing in that boarding line for like 2 hours. Then the agents came out there like, oh, we done oversold the flight, so, you know, some of y'all ain't gonna be able to get on this plane. And I'm like, yo, but like, how is y'all oversold, man? Why y'all kept on selling tickets, man? Ooh, I know you was mad too, weren't you? And they like, oh, well, you know, it's policy that we sell more seats than we have available. And I'm like, dude, what kind of stupid policy is that, man? What if everybody show up for the tickets that you already done sold them? And they're like, oh, well, that'll never happen. And I'm like, dude, it's happening right now. The scenario that you said never happens is literally the scenario that we are in. So, like, what y'all gonna do? And they talk about they gonna be like, oh, well, you know, we got some travel vouchers and you can get the next flight out. I'm like, yo, but what about this flight, man? This the one I'm supposed to be, man. I'm like, come on, y'all. I got to be on this plane, man. I done booked this time off, yo. I can't get this vacation day back, man. Like, yeah, cool. Y'all give me some travel miles or whatever, but like, y'all talking about some future stuff, man. I'm talking about living in the right now, baby, man. I got to get up on this plane, man. So I was like, all right, fine. What y'all offering people to go ahead and skip the flight? And they was like, oh, you know, we give you a $2,000 American Express prepaid card. And I was like, oh, say word, 2 G's? Yeah, man. I'll take me this one-day staycation and just hit the hotel tomorrow, man. Cool. Ooh, I know you was like, make it rain. Yeah, that's a come up right there. We use this method a lot for giving advice, but also to talk about how we think things are gonna play out in the future. Like at the end of this video, y'all gonna be like, man, that dude with the beard must really love Harry Potter. Look here, boy, when you in them interviews, what you need to be doing is ask them interviewers some questions of your own. Now, what I do is at the end of the interview, I'd be like, what questions should I be asking you? That way, it shows them interest. They gonna be like, ooh, wow, she really do want to get this job. I already be like that right now, though, huh? Oh, I guess you grown now, huh? That is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I had a fun time making it. I hope you were able to take something that I put in here and put that into action for you, or that I've at least made a few things more clear and that you can actually understand what we mean when we're saying be like all of these times. Anyway, again, thank you so much for watching. I will be back next week with another one of these wonderful episodes, and I will see y'all then. Ciao. Before I get out of here, I just want to give a quick shout out to my friend Bev, who made the artwork that I use at the end of all of my videos. Now, I have her links in the description below, but also she is trying to do a seminar on how to get started as an artist, as well as giving self-care tips for not going crazy in the process. And she needs at least 200 followers to be able to do the class on the site. So if you could, please hit the link that I put in the description, which will take you to a page where you can just give an email address to sign up. You don't actually have to sign up for the class. You just have to follow her, and if she gets at least 200 followers, she will be able to do the class. I would recommend you take the class if you want to get started as an artist, and she's an amazing artist, as you can see from the work that she has created for me that I use in all of my videos. So please check her out. I also have links to her store, as I said, and her Instagram and Twitter in my description below, so you can see all the wonderful stuff that she creates.
I'm going to kill you, Harry Potter.